What's going on, guys? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening for some of you, maybe. Um, Welcome to Sunday Saucy Sunday. I'm Meatball Saucy. Today I'm going to spend a little bit of time and play some stock AtGames games and check out Arcade Net, a little bit of arcade action, maybe do a little bit of cloud pinball streaming. And then we'll jump over and do some OTG stuff, kind of viewer's choice, whatever you guys want to see. Um, we'll also be answering any questions you might have, so please, if you have them, drop them in the chat. Hey UAG, hey facilitator, how you doing? Good to see you. Um, as we go through this, I did also want to talk about some of the hot news items that are coming up. The releases, Zack Pack, the firmware update that dropped. We'll talk about some of the issues. Some of the things that I've been doing to help AtGames be aware of the situation and hopefully get it resolved for all of us. But we'll kind of highlight that as we go through. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump right in. Everybody can see everything great? Any issues? Let me know. So let's start off with Central Park, and we'll go ahead and jump right in. So this is one of the weekly games that are currently out there for you to just play, and you'll be able to see what's... you basically just have to play, post a score, and you're entered for a chance to win some arcade net hours, which is kind of cool. So we'll talk about that here in a little bit. Awesome. Thanks, facilitator. Appreciate it. Okay, here we go. Let's jump in. So this is a really tough table, guys. This is one that, I think they've got like 7,000 is the highest score out there for on the leaderboards. And 7,000 is a really good score. I think I'm somewhere in about the 3,200 is the best I've ever gotten on this game. But it is a beast of a table. It definitely requires a lot of nudge, and the nudge is not very forgiving. So as you can see, there's a lot of out lanes associated with this guy in the center, on the sides. But the idea is to try to light up all of the center lanes here. Yeah, see, just like that. Brutal, brutal, brutal. Once you get all these center lanes lit up, you actually start to get additional ball chances. And so that's how you can get your score up if you're struggling to get it up. The idea is to hit the numbers at the top and get those all cleared out and get those special lights lit before you run out of balls. Once you do that, like I said, you start getting extra balls and you can really rack up the points. But the trick is getting to that point. And I know I spent yesterday probably I probably spent an hour just trying to get a game going where I could actually get those specials lit, and man, it just didn't help whatsoever. UAG, you're driving. Awesome. Glad to have you, man. Appreciate you jumping on. So what do you guys think about these event series? I think they're pretty cool. The fact that AtGames is willing to put out all these different platforms on the arcade and the pinball and give everybody an opportunity to play for some free games. Hey, did you guys see that? So one thing I've noticed is the ball on some of these tables, when you load, it automatically kicks up. I'm not sure what the cause of that is, but it's something that I've noticed. All right. Ah, brutal. Well, I've got one special, which means I just got an extra ball, but that's, again, I need to get that other one going on that left side. My right side seems to be doing okay. Come on, come on, come on. No love for the meatball. Come on, give me that extra ball. Come on, get that left side. Jeez. Yeah, there's not a lot of forgiveness in this game. Like I said, it does not have a. There we go. Getting a little bit better. God. And it also doesn't help that I always go backwards on these things. I always go backwards on the nudge because I'm used to the VPX. I played a lot more VPX and FX3, and the nudge physics are reversed. You know, if you want to slow it or push it left and right, you basically do reverse of what you normally would, and so it's a little bit challenging. But oh, come on. Get out of there. Nothing. Well, at least I'm keeping myself alive. Let's see. You guys are talking about the Yankees. Well, I'm not a baseball guy. Can't help it. When we start talking about football or basketball, I can join in the conversation. Unfortunately, I'm not a baseball guy, so I don't have a lot to say there. However, like I was saying, with these events, I think they're really cool. Like it doesn't necessarily mean you have to be the best player in the world. They give everybody an opportunity to join in, play the games, enjoy and participate in these great events, and have an opportunity to, just win some prizes. And they're pretty cool prizes. You know, on National Owners Day, I racked up almost a year of free arcade net just from playing. And, it was random. Got a random pool, but, I had a great time playing the games and participating. And, I think it's a great opportunity for a lot of people to get a chance at getting involved with some of these paid versions of the arcade net, which I think really has a good opportunity in the future to expand. And we're going to take a little bit closer look at arcade net here in a little bit, so you guys will be able to see kind of what I'm talking about. Oh, see, I really feel like this table needs some tweaks. Yeah, facilitator. Once you get all those things going, and we'll take a look at it a little bit more detail, but the VPX side of things is fantastic, and I'll be showcasing that here a little bit. And I do have the switchboard already installed in this machine, as you may or may not know. But yeah, it's a fantastic product, and so the stock games are great, but once you open it up to that whole other world of gameplay, it's fantastic. And like I said, we'll talk a little bit about the issues that were introduced this week when we get there, but it's still a really good experience. Come on. No love. Well, I'm somewhere around the neighborhood of my high score, so this is actually a fairly halfway decent run here. If I can hold it together and keep going. Like I said, is fairly rare for live stream. And again, there it is. I'm not sure what's causing that. It happens on quite a few of these Gottlieb tables. I don't have the Zokaria packs, so I can't comment on those, but I've noticed that there is a lot of almost table shake that causes the ball physics to activate when it's loading a ball. It's a little strange. Again, I keep getting those two special lights lit is critical. That's kind of what jacks up your ability to keep playing. No. Yeah, there we go. All right, I got a new high score. Sweet. Okay. That's Central Park. Again, not my favorite Gottlieb table by far. Yeah, that is very much true. In fact, I was just going to say that, facilitator. You would never catch me playing this table if it wasn't part of the event. And in fact, now I've probably put, heck, 3 hours into playing this table. And like I said, there is no way in hell I would play this for 3 hours if it weren't for the event. So, and I'll be honest, I've had a good time. It's really frustrating, but it's been fun. So I really appreciate the fact that AtGames wants to highlight their IP that they've spent the money on getting licensing for, and it, like I said, really hard. But we'll go ahead and move on to one of the other ones. And there we go. Got my new high score submitted, and let's just kind of look at what these scores look like, and so you can see, even at 3,500, with the top being 70 or 7,000, I'm at 160. I mean, that's how tight this is. This is crazy, competition wise. So I mean, you can see it doesn't take much to move up and down on the leaderboards here, but you really got to have that good run, and getting 7,000 points in this game is definitely a challenge. So good luck to everybody trying to do well on that. Okay, so this is probably going to take a minute while the quote-unquote server loads up here, but I'm actually going to take us over, and we'll jump over into the arcade net. And one of the other things going on this week is Dragon Gun. This is another one of the special event tables, and with the control panel here, you're going to be able to see that I'll be able to use the trackball to aim. I can either use the joystick or the trackball to aim. But this is another really good game. I actually play this a lot with my Wii remotes on the ALU in OTG there as well. So I really enjoy this game. I'm not very good at it. I'm much better at things like Operation Wolf and things like that, but this is still a really fun game. And hopefully it doesn't take forever to boot up here. I've been getting relatively okay performance, but well, it looks like it's going to take about 3 minutes. So while we're going through that, let's talk a little bit about the Zac packs, the deluxe packs. So I think I've been pretty upfront with most of the members of the community that I just don't feel like because of all of the investment, I guess, in time and with the prizes on ArcadeNet that I've put in, that I've really been waiting to get the Zac packs for ArcadeNet and have them available the same way I can play the Gottlieb tables on the ALU and gamers and so forth. So I've kind of been waiting for that. That being said, the deluxe tables are really awesome, and the value for the $50 is top notch, and I really am considering. In fact, I'm not considering. I'm definitely going to be buying those on Wednesday when they come out, and so I'm really looking forward to jumping in with that. And so you're going to see here Dragon Gun, and hopefully we've got decent performance. Ooh, that's really loud. I'm going to turn that down just a bit. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be looking forward to those coming out this week. Oh, hey, I'm playing already. Whoa. Sorry guys, I didn't realize I had hit the start button. I thought I just hit the coin button, but I must have double tapped. Not going to make it through very far on this, but like I said, so for shooters, the trackball is nice. It's obviously not the ideal way to play shooters, and having a light gun is really the way to do it. But let's give that a quick continue. That was not so good. Like I said, didn't really get an opportunity to get set there. But when you don't have a light gun that's accessible or plugged into your system, the trackball is definitely a good alternative, um, and it helps. So like I said, I'm not very good at this particular game, but I have set some pretty good scores for Operation Wolf on the ALU using just the trackball, and it's a good experience. Oh, I didn't get my power up there. Big miss. Come on, Dragon, go down, go down. One more Dragon Ball. Come on, get him. Ah, no good, no good. Yeah, and again, because I've got OTG Facilitator, that's kind of what's been holding me off, because I have all the tables. I actually do not have all of the deluxe tables. That particular DLC, I did not jump in on. So I've got all the stock tables and a couple of the other ones, but there have been a couple updates on Steam that have kind of kept me away from doing it. But I am definitely going to get the Zac Pack deluxe tables here on Wednesday, so I'm really looking forward to it. So that was Dragon Gun, and I'm going to show you guys, even though I'm fairly certain it's not going to perform well, but I'm going to go ahead and go into Cloud Pinball, and we've got Junkyard Cats is also on this week, and I don't know, it's really dependent upon your connection. It seemed like when ArcadeNet went live that some of the connections seemed to get a little bit worse and were not as reliable. But having the cloud streaming, I think, is a really cool feature. And being able to get these Future Pinball and VPX tables onto the machine playing natively through the firmware is awesome. And if they could just get that performance up just a little bit more. I mean, bringing it up maybe... I can't even tell you what it would take to get it much better, but the actual stream performance needs to be a little bit higher than what it is, but it's pretty close. And so, some of the people that might be in California or closer to any of these other servers may have a better experience than I have, but my experience so far has been hit or miss. Sometimes if I'm playing in off hours, it's really good and it plays perfect. If I'm playing, times like today where it's middle of the day on the East Coast and people are playing, or even just the overall ISP bandwidth has been consumed, it's meh. And we'll see. Like I said, I tried this last night and it was okay, but we'll see how well it runs today. So the other big feature that was coming through to the stock firmware here is, of course, the upgrades for the controller. Are either of you guys or any of you guys interested in the new controller coming from AtGames? I pre-ordered it on National Owners Day, and I actually am going to be fulfilling that as soon as the announcement emails go out. While I do drag my Gamer Minis back and forth to the living room, I'd like to be able to have just a dedicated controller in there. I've tried using NVIDIA Shield controllers, I've tried using Xbox controllers, and they work, especially now with the new mapping function, they work. But there's just little wonky things like the rewind buttons and things like that are really designed for AtGames. And I feel like that controller is going to be a better utilization of those cores and easier to move around the house when I just want to sit down and play like an NES game, for example, off of CoinOps X, which, believe it or not, happens quite often. I love NES games. SNES, Genesis, I love all of those different emulators and play them a lot. Obviously, when it comes to the arcade, I prefer the arcade stick, and I would drag the mini out. When it comes to the pinball, I'm obviously going to drag the mini out and use the buttons, or break out the Pro and use the buttons. Here we go. So as you can see, that took a really long time. That actually took a lot longer than it normally does. But once it actually does load up, you'll see this is actually this is PC gaming in the cloud. So it's a really cool prospect. I'm excited about it. I want it to succeed because, the more licenses they can get, the more opportunity it is. The other big one that I'm really waiting for is to see Pizza Time come to this platform. I'm really hoping that comes soon. The other aspect that they really need to get going for this to be successful is complete integration of the ALP controls. So you'll see I'm not able to use my plunger, the back glass is not available, and so it's just the play field. Those are areas where they definitely can improve here, and hopefully this will load up a little more quickly. There it goes. Okay. So now Future Pinball is kicking off here. And there you go. And so you can see the DMD is there. There is a full back glass for this, an animated black back glass that can be had. And if you guys want, we can take a look at it when we jump over to OTG, so you can see the difference between the cloud streaming versus this. But it does keep track of your scores, so if you're on and playing enough, you can see it. And these also do post to Leaderboard, which is the big plus. So let's give it a shot and see what this looks like. And so, like I said, I've got to use the control stick to launch the ball. But you're gonna see the ball jump around a lot, and that's kind of the big issue with this. The input is not fantastic either. There it goes. So it's really when there's a lot of display happening. So if there's lights or flashes, it tends to skip a lot more often, and there's delays, and so it's, like I said, it's one of those things that you run into. All right, let's go. There we go. Oh,
it's not over yet.
It almost was. Certainly not playing well. Even and this is actually performing halfway decent right now. It's been much worse, but like I said, it's performing pretty decent at the moment, so that is good. There are a couple skips that I've seen, but for the most part, it's pretty decent, and it is keeping up. So like I said, when that happens, this is really an enjoyable experience. I just wish that the consistency behind it was a little more reliable. And you'll also notice, just in general, it would be nice if they could get more of the VPX tables instead of the Future Pinball. You see the physics here on Junkyard Cat. This is the Future Pinball version of it. And Future Pinball, just in general, is the physics are floaty. They're hand done physics, so it's not like they're able to pull from ROMs or experiences, and the coding is not great. But yeah, I mean it's a pretty decent experience. But you'll also note that when you play Leprechaun King, which is a VPX, the overall physics are a much better experience in general. So, like I said, I think Cloud Pinball is really awesome. It's got potential, and I definitely hope there's enough people trying it out to warrant further improvement on the part of AtGames. And so, these tables here are all really good. Well, I can't say they're all really good. There's some that are a little on the low end. And I can't recommend Invaders, Skittles, Texas Poker. They're kind of meh, but Blue and Pink, Junkyard Cats, Tempix, Space Ramp, Leprechaun King are all fantastic tables. They are really good games, and I have them all on my OTG build. So I may not necessarily play them here, but if this were to ever get to a point where the experience is better, I certainly could. All right, so I think we're done with the stock games. I think we'll go ahead and jump into OTG. If anybody has any questions about the stock games or anything in particular you'd like to know, how do you score high? How do you record your scores on some of those cloud games? Let me know. All right. So I did add a new camera here this week, so hopefully the back glass is looking better, and you'll hopefully be able to see it when it comes through. It's historically been a washed out mess and been very hard to actually get on camera, but I think I've got a solution this week that will show it off really well once it finishes booting and readjusting to all the lights as it goes through. So looking forward to see how that performs, and you guys let me know if it looks good. All right, so we've got the full gambit of PC tables available to us. Does anybody have any suggestions on what you'd like to see played? Drop it in the chat now. If I don't see anything, I will pull up a wheel and we will spin for a letter, and we'll start there. Okay, cool. And I think I'm going to go ahead and pull up a wheel, and we'll see. We'll pick one of my playlists here, and we'll give it a spin and see what we get. And we'll just go from there. Spinning the wheel. Where she stops, nobody knows. All right, so we're going to start with FX3. Sweet. Jumping right in. So this is going to give me a good opportunity to talk about the firmware update that happened this past week and some of the issues associated with it. I also want to talk a little bit about physics and things like that within FX3. But let's get started. And then, oh, you know what? I did Attack from Mars last week. Let's not do Attack from Mars. Let's do something else. Sorry, guys. If you're Attack from Mars fans, I apologize, but we did do Attack from Mars last week, so I'm gonna back out of this. All right, let's go look at something else. Let's see. Let's do some Doom. I like Doom. Doom's a fun one. All right. Yeah, so anyways, as I was saying, last week's firmware update, or this week's firmware update, fixed the frame skipping. So as you know, the frame skipping issue has been resolved. Now, whether through a result of the fact that now the screens are butter smooth and crisp and clear, or through a combination of the fix and what happened, there has definitely been introduced some input delay. And I can't 100% attribute it to Hurt Me Plenty and start this off, but I'll keep talking while I play. So I can't attribute it 100% to the fix specifically, because it's very possible that the fix just highlighted it more. And what I can tell you is that when I've done some testing on the on the back glass, utilizing the back glass screen, is there's a little more than 100 milliseconds of input delay, even using the back glass. That being said, it's very likely a possibility that there is a combination of the two things, both the display and the input lag, because the input delay actually increases from 100 milliseconds to 200 milliseconds on the playfield, and so it is very noticeable. And in fact, that I'm hitting that ramp, but I really am trying to hit that shot, and that is 100% directly related to that input delay. I'm used to this game. I know where the shots are, and I know the angles to hit, but it is just coming off late. And I have no doubt in my mind that AtGames will get this resolved. I did provide them my testing and test results, as well as a procedure to recreate the issue so that they can get it to their engineers and hopefully get a working fix out to us really soon. That being said, this can be a tough issue to get resolved, and even the big boys like Nintendo, Microsoft, and PlayStation spend a lot of time and a lot of resources trying to get their consoles and their platforms working properly with as little input delay as possible. And that really is a big challenge for a lot of people. So, while I hope it's soon, we definitely will just have to be patient. And I know it sucks, but it's coming. Oh, did you see that? Multi-ball, double ball drain. Yeah, the
You could not have saved.
Wow. Got the multi-ball, double drain. That was awesome. And so I also did want to address, can't do dead drops. Yeah, no, it's like I said, the timing that's required, it throws it off, and that's the bottom line. It's unfortunate. And the reality is it probably was there to a certain degree prior to this frame skipping fix. We just weren't able to see it because it's such a subtle change that if the frames are not in sync or not smooth, it's a harder thing to see from an input delay standpoint. So yeah, there's that. Okay, dude. Let's see here. So I'm going to jump over and do some VPX. I really want to do Baby Pac-Man and show off the controls, but I'm really waiting for the control deck fix so that the input is there. Once we've got that. Tony C, this is OTG on PC. This is all 100% on a PC. For the most part, Pi can run some of these. Have you been able to get audio feedback feature going in Future Pinball? I have not, Mr. Chip. Well, to a certain degree. Let me show you what I've got going in Future Pinball. Let me jump over there real quick. So within Future Pinball, there is a DOF-Links interface. And so I will try to show you kind of what I've got going here within Future Pinball. Let's see. Let's find a good one. Well, Batman. Do some Dark Knight. Yeah, so the settings within this, it's not like with VPX, unfortunately. It does require a DOF-Links interface and a custom DOF-Links pup pack to be running. But once it's running, yeah, you do get some surround sound feedback. It's just not customized and coded specifically for the table. So I'll show you here in just a second what that kind of looks like. And it's the same. It's actually the same thing that I use to get the feedback working in FX3. So it's the exact same code. It just also includes Future Pinball. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn down the audio volume and I'll turn up the feedback volume. And so you can hear what the feedback volume comes out of that particular amplifier. And like I said, some games just got more to it, but for the most part, it's flippers and bumpers. There's not a ton of, like I said, it's not fully built into it. Are these via Steam? No, these are not via Steam. These are 100% PC-based tables emulation through Future Pinball, Virtual Pinball X, or Visual Pinball X, excuse me. And so you can see that is coming directly out of the surround sound feedback standpoint. And so that's my flipper sound. And I think there's a couple tables that have been coded better that actually have bumper sounds as well. And once those are in, it gives a better overall experience. And like I said, the surround sound feedback in general is really good. So I can feel those flipper hits. It's just, you can see it up there bouncing off of the stuff. When you use something like Emporium, none of that is set up. No, that is true. that is definitely true. If you go with the Pinball Emporium and you go with that front end and that implementation, none of that is set up. To a certain degree, when you use the baller installer, it will put in the default DOF information. However, in order to get this working, you definitely have to have your own configuration. If you get to that point, Mr. Chip, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to share this config file. It's a simple little text file to get your DOF links configured to do this. And then there's a little bit of launch script editing that I can take and send to you as well to help get it running. It's not super complex, but it is a lot more complicated than simply using one of the prepackaged installers. So keep in mind, once you start getting into the more advanced stuff, it does require a little bit more research, a little bit more investigation. But I tell you what, I will certainly help make it easier for you. If you just reach out, we'll get you squared away. So that's Future Pinball and the surround sound feedback and what that sounds like. And then, of course, like I said, I just turn the game volume back up, and now it kind of just blends in with the game. So, and of course, just died. That was beautiful. Saucy is awesome. All right, man. I don't know about that, but yeah. Anyways, let's go back over to Future Pinball here real quick. And as I was saying, I really do want to get Baby Pac-Man to show you guys. It is pretty fun. Yeah, and it's one of those things that I beat my head against the wall for because I couldn't figure out why the heck it wasn't working. I swear I copied Terry Red's files 100%. Then I started actually looking and reading at his DOFLink script, and there's so much. There's just little tweaks that I had to make it work. Where it probably worked fine on his system and probably worked fine on 9 other systems, but my system was slightly different and required a little bit of a tweak to get it running. So that's the thing with visual pinball or any type of virtual pinball, is that it really is dependent on your system, and there can be all types of little script tweaks and things you can do to make the change. But yeah, I've actually been playing a lot of this. I've got an okay high score, but I think once I get the control working and I can actually make some hard cuts in Baby Pac-Man, I'll show that off again down the road. But let's take a look at some rock and roll. Anybody have any other any specific tables you like to see, or anything you are struggling getting running that I can pull up? Again, I've got a lot of music tables here. Favorites include Guns N' Roses. Really big fan of the Iron Maiden. The Metallica Master of Puppets mod is phenomenal. And I think last week I showed off Motorhead. I really, really like this table, especially now that it works with the Motorhead songs. That's awesome. I've shared that table out with a few people in a couple of the MP3s to get that running. So if you're interested and you want to try to get Motorhead running, hit me up. I'll hook you up. Pink Floyd is also one of my really cool, just like kick back, relax. It's got great soundtrack and music. What kind of PC and specs? I'm actually using a really old PC. It is my son's old virtual reality. We got him a virtual reality headset when he was really young, to give him an opportunity. And he's actually now programming. He's 13 and he's programming virtual reality programs. So while I was a little skeptical of doing it, I'm very happy that I did. So, but that being said, the PC has pretty decent specs. I did use an old GTX 980 because there was an NVIDIA card installed in this machine back in the day. And that, as you know, or maybe you don't know, the OTG does not perform well with NVIDIA, or sorry, ATI, or sorry, yeah, what is it? Yeah, not ATI anymore. What the hell is it called? AMD, sorry. Just dated myself by calling the ATI, or the AMD ATI. Anyways, but so the AMD cards don't run very well, so you need to have NVIDIA for this. So I updated that to a 980, but otherwise it's running, I want to say a 7800K as the CPU, so it's got a decent CPU, not overclocked, but you know, it's there. Yeah, I can play some Galaga if you want to see some Galaga. So that was the other thing I showed off last week, was the fact that we can go back and forth between CoinOps Diamonds Vertical. And so you'll see what happens here, just like last week. I will come over here and pick my verts only. And what it does is it will close Pinup Popper, open up CoinOps Diamonds 3, and then wait. It waits for CoinOps. Ooh, that's loud. It waits for CoinOps to be closed, so it's watching for Retro FE. Once it closes that, then it does move over to... It then executes the relaunch of Popper. So EFG, there we go. Galaga. All right. So we'll go ahead and launch Galaga. And you'll find that this is not an issue. The control deck actually works really fine as long as you're just going left and right. But the diagonals issue on the other games can be kind of a pain in the butt. So once this boots up, and you'll see that I've got, again, showing this off in a little bit better resolution than last week. I have got CoinOps 3D working on, or CoinOps Diamonds 3, D3, working on with a 4-screen setup. So it's got the marquee, the background image, and then just the logo, the clear logo displayed, as well as the playfield. So we'll go ahead and give it a coin and see how well I suck at Galaga. This is really my wife's game. I'm not very good at this. My wife and sister-in-law love this to death. In fact, I got my sister-in-law for her birthday the Arcade 1-Up Countercade version of this. So I'm not very good, but they're pretty darn good at it. See? Suck. Shoot. Okay, so that was a little bit. I was moving left, but I had pushed down. So that, like I said, that's all on me. But there is some controller issues that I'm really hoping AtGames can get fixed soon, because it's bothersome, and I'd really like to get my arcade games up and running at full speed on this. And don't get me wrong, they work fine in CoinOps X, and so I can play these same games in CoinOps X, but I'd really like to get it running on the PC as well, just because I like options, and I like all the options to work. No love on the double ship, but that's alright. And so you'll notice that really, in order to get this to work right, I've got to make sure I release the control stick prior to pushing in another direction, and that's just been my hang up with the bugs there. But well, and that's Galaga for you. So, like I said, not my best game in the world. I definitely have got other games that I enjoy, and we'll highlight those down the road, and maybe when we switch over next week and we do the Legends Ultimate. But there we go. So now CoinOps Diamonds closes, and here we are right back into Pinup Popper. The same thing happens, like I said, when I do the jukebox. It comes over. But since we're here, what I have done is I've created a playlist for Legends, and so I've got all of the Gottlieb as well as the Cloud Pinball. So we talked about the blue and pink, and that's there, and that's Future Pinball. And we also talked about Leprechaun King. So I actually want to play Leprechaun King here in a minute, but Pizza Time is one that's been announced. Awesome, man. Thanks. Appreciate it. Pizza Time is one that has been announced, and this is a really fun game. If those of you that have an opportunity or have a PC setup, get this table. It is so awesome. It's got great sound effects. It's got great. It's got really comical, funny things that happen during it. It's supported by AtGames, so I'm really shocked that they have not pushed this into their cloud yet. You know what? Let's do it. So I'm gonna go ahead and launch it anyway. And we can take a look at it, and you'll see just within the logo, it actually comes up and says, sponsored by AtGames or something like that. And you can even kind of see the little swirl on the backlash there at the end of the Pizza Time. So, like I said, it's one of those ones that it's just like, I don't know why they haven't put this in there, but so there's the orbital. And you'll see it'll kind of go through and give the credits here. But very shortly here, there it is. Yep, sponsored by AtGames. Yep. So anyways, like I said, I would love to see this go through. I'm just going to give this a quick little tune. And of course, it's got a wheel. So, anything that's Wheel of Fortune type thing, you had me at hello, right? But this is what I mean with the surround sound feedback. Actually, I'm going to turn it down just a tad. But with the surround sound feedback and the difference in it, I don't know how well it's coming through on camera, but you can feel, you can hear the ball rolling on the table. You can feel it when it transitions to a steel ramp. You can feel those bumpers hitting. I mean, it just, like I said, it's really great. And again, I'm still dealing with the flipper lag, so it's there. And I'm not going to make excuses for gameplay, but I'm just saying it's there. But like I said, and I guess I turn that down so you can hear the cool stuff that's going on. So it's got a really good soundtrack, and it's got a lot of the little pizza guy when he pops up. He gives you crap about not being able to make the pizza and do everything on it.
try again.
Get the fuck out. Anyways, yeah, all right. Scotty Wick tables, guys. They're just awesome. But what I really want to do is bring up Leprechaun King, because a lot of people have seen Leprechaun King. You guys know what it's all about. And I really wish that they would enable the rock version of this. So what you're going to hear is the rock and roll mod that's already included in this game. It just needs to have a script changed from, I think, 1 to 2, because the version that's on the cloud streaming and cloud gaming is great, but it's using kind of more the traditional Irish music as opposed to and I'm going to turn it up just a little bit so you can kind of hear what this sounds like as I play it. But this has more of the Irish rock to it, and it's I get a lot more pumped and enjoy the table much more using that rock sound. So let's listen to it. Let's play it a little bit, and you can see the difference between the VPX version and what's streaming in the cloud. They're essentially the same game, but oh jeez. Sweet. T-lock. This is looking halfway good. I don't usually get this level of setup at this game. Oh, come on. Damn. As soon as I said that. As soon as I said it, said, hey, I've got dual ball locks. I'm in good shape and only on ball 2. But now I choked immediately. Gotta love it. There we go. There we go. I thought that was feeling a little bit good. Let's see how well I can do with this multi-ball. Oh, God. Are you kidding me? Dual drain right away? That sucks. Give me one of the laps. Bummer. Well,
Very good.
that certainly could have been a whole lot better.
Oh dear. Well, that's the end of that.
Oh yeah, Jordan. Yeah, we kind of covered a little bit. Like I said, the frame skip is good, but there is definitely input delay. In fact, I mentioned earlier that I have been working with AtGames. I've created a test that is very reproducible, and it shows what the actual input delay is. It is different on the playfield versus the backglass, so there is still some display issues that need to be worked out, but there is also enough of an input delay that the screen issues are now exacerbated. So the fact that we're looking at 200 milliseconds on the playfield, which is in nowhere near, we're not even close to acceptable in that ballpark, and 100 milliseconds on the backglass, which is, it's okay for, Xbox 360 era and 1080p, it's acceptable. And I think it would be a lot less noticeable if we were only at 100 milliseconds on the playfield. But obviously, in today's high definition standards, we've got to get closer to that, well south of 100 milliseconds to be honest with you. I mean, we need to get down into the 50s to 30s to really be in a happy spot. But again, until we get there, it's tough to say. But like I said, AtGames has the information now. We are going to make sure that the information I provided is good. Make sure that they're clear on it. Make sure that the procedure, that they really can follow the procedure I provided to them. And then we'll let their software engineers take over and do a great job. And, I think they did a good job with what we provided them on the frame skipping. And we've got at least part of it fixed. So, it may take some time, but we'll get there. Anybody have any other requests here real quick? And again, I know I'd seen Rexer really out there trying to find a comparison. So I've got a couple of the deluxe tables here on my Zakari build, so I will be testing those. Well, Jordan, it's going to take what it is. I mean, like I said earlier, sometimes, Sony and Microsoft have been chasing that delay input for many years, and they are much bigger companies than AtGames and have a much bigger team of engineers working on the issue. So, it's, if it takes a month, it takes a month. Let's just get it right. Let's not put out a fix that gets it down to 80 milliseconds that is, acceptable for 20% of the fan base, and then the other 60% of us or 80% of us are not happy. So I'd prefer to get it right than get it fast. I mean, I know I want it, and you see the build that I've got that can take advantage of it. So yeah, I mean, it's really something that I definitely want to see in the future.
Lord knows, kids like Henry need a hero.
So the other thing that I noticed, there was a couple questions for me specifically, but there's also been a lot of talk in the forums recently with regards to USB and USB cables. The simple answer, and I think a lot of people have provided this, that if you're having trouble getting your computer to connect via USB, that you should go to a powered hub. And that really is the root cause of the system, and it really is down to your computer and your computer settings. If your USB ports are not configured properly with the right voltage to be pushing out, the ALP will not report back properly to your computer. And so by using a powered hub, you're effectively giving those input ports the right voltage that the ALP can properly report and send the right inputs. So that being said, that's the simple answer. There are other things you can try. You can certainly try turning off some of the power settings and the input, the Windows USB power reduction feature is what it really is. But the other thing I've seen people saying is, yeah, the long cables don't work. Well, that's the same issue, right? Because the longer you've got your cable, the more power bleed you're going to have over a longer distance, and so it's the same issue. It's just a voltage that's just not being reported properly between the ALP and your PC. So, like I said, simple answer with that is to go to a powered USB hub, and it should then work with any length cable and pretty much any port on your PC. If you aren't using that, you will probably end up struggling between the different ports and the different cable lengths until you find one that is supplying the right voltage for what you have plugged into your PC. And of course, your your own PC's power supply and power regulation software. Anybody have any other requests? I got about 5 minutes if you want to see something. If not, I'm going to go ahead and end the stream then today, and we'll maybe catch up next week. I think I'm going to attempt to try to set something up on the Legends Ultimate for next week, and maybe do a Sunday race day. Maybe sit down and get the race rig hooked up and do some driving games. Haven't done that in a while, and I don't know, you guys tell me if you think that would be fun or cool, you'd be interested in watching that. But there's some really cool arcade racing games out there, and they work really well with the racing rig, as well as the little spinner topper that I've got that we could do some racing with. And again, anybody have any issues or need help setting up their pinball or their pinball builds, or they have any issues with aspects of the front ends, feel free to reach out to me. I'm always available. And so I guess since I don't see anybody saying they've got anything, we'll go ahead and end the stream, and we'll catch you guys next time. Have a great week. Cheers.